I know this is about to be bad. I know this is about to be terrible, man. The worst winter storms in America history. I don't know what I'm looking at right now. Like, what the hell is this, man? Anyway, hope you guys are doing good today. Hope you guys are nice, cozy, warm, because outside, we're getting to that point of the year where you go out and you think to yourself, I hate this. I don't know where I'm going with this. But today we're going to be checking out the winter... My name's Adam. Glad you're here. Let's go. Like, do you get this every single winter? Like, whenever it hits winter, you're like, oh my God, it's going to be snowing soon. Or is this just like a one-off? Maybe, you know, maybe you get it. Because we don't, like, on, not even on average, like 9 times out of 10 winters, we will not get snow.
Other dangers are added by humans who inattentively poison themselves with carbon dioxide, fail to dress warmly, or unwisely expose themselves to hazardous conditions. Here are 10 of the worst winter storms in American history. In some of them, ample warnings of nature's impending wrath were available. In others, the inclement weather appeared as a surprise. But all of them were harsh
This guy's speaking in full stops, man.
reminders of the power of nature and its ability to reduce humanity to near helplessness.
Okay, here we go. Top 10, take
Number
me.
10. Thanksgiving Blizzard of 1971. Thanksgiving Day is a fall holiday and the start of the Christmas shopping season, marked by when Santa Claus arrives at the end of the traditional Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. So technically, storms which occur over Thanksgiving weekend aren't winter storms at all, but for people living across Pennsylvania and upstate New York in 1971, the distinction was moot. New York and Pennsylvania endured the worst Thanksgiving Day storm in history in terms of snowfall on that holiday. The storm began on Wednesday, the day before the holiday, then as now a major traveling day for
20 plus inches deep of snow. Bro, that's like... Jesus!
many Americans. Across Pennsylvania, up to 30 inches of snow fell before the storm abated late the following day. With temperatures hovering around 30 degrees, the wet snow weighed down branches and power lines, causing outages, thus disrupting cooking as well as travel. Snowplows were unable to begin clearing the roads until after the snow.
I don't know whether this guy has a bit of sarcasm in him or like what is going on with this. Like, is this a character this guy's playing at the minute? I don't know whether to take him full serious or if there's a bit of humor in him. I think there might be a bit of humor, man.
All abated, and travel throughout the region remained problematic through the weekend. Most of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, as well as several stretches of the New York Thruway, remained closed, stranding travelers and disrupting traffic. Jeez. Number 9, April blizzard of 1982.
You guys, I want you lot to tell me right now in the comments, whilst we're watching this, pause it, and let me know if you guys were in any of these. I would love to know what your experience was, what you had to go through, what you had to do, etc., etc. Let me know.
Week in New York is remembered and celebrated in the 1948 film Easter Parade, with Judy Garland and Fred Astaire enjoying a stroll with fellow New Yorkers down Fifth Avenue. The ladies
look at this, man. I wish everyone dressed like this in today. I feel like we've gone backwards as a society in terms of looking classy. I think we have.
Going off their new Easter bonnets. Easter week 1982 was somewhat different. On Tuesday, April the 6th, people in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area found themselves in a raging blizzard which paralyzed the area. Airports shut down. Stranded travelers swamped hotels and motels. Automobile traffic ground to a halt. The snow came down quickly, bringing New York City to a near standstill. Both New York's Mets and Yankees had scheduled their season openers for that day. Neither took place.
So I'm gonna move my face to like the bottom corner because I feel like I'm not letting you guys see some of this stuff. I do apologize for that. Sorry.
Other than a white Christmas, it looked as if the approaching holidays of Easter
big snow,
and Passover
12 inches are on the way.
Would be covered with a blanket of snow. Fortunately, warmer temperatures returned quickly, and by Easter Sunday, 5 days later, most of the snow was gone, with what was left just filthy sludge. The storm occurred over 2 weeks following the beginning of spring, at least according to the calendar, a time when New York's average daily high temperatures normally approached 60 degrees. Number 8, February blizzard of 1983.
Damn.
February the 10th to the 12th saw a major blizzard along the route followed by I-95, one of the busiest traffic corridors in the United States. Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, New Haven, and Boston were all buried in a storm which acquired the nickname the Megalopolitan Blizzard. Philadelphia set a record for snowfall on February the
Megalopolitan. That just kind of falls out the mouth, doesn't it? There's no way you can mispronounce that. Oh, well, there you go. I can't. Fuck me. Okay. Megalopolitan. No, I can't say it. Megalopolitan. Fuck. Oh, I don't. Megalopolitan. The Megalopolitan blizzard of February 11th to the 12th, 1983.
11th with 21 inches falling in just 24 hours. Some areas in Virginia had over 30 inches of snow. The New York metropolitan area had snowfall totals ranging from 1.5 to 2 feet, with over 17 inches recorded in Central Park. Airports from southern Virginia through New England closed, rail travel stopped, and motorists found themselves stranded on the interstates.
See this? You see this on the side of the road? This is what we'd get as like our snow. See if the news was gonna say it's gonna be snowing, this is what we'd get. This and a tiny bit of sludge. That's it. If this happened, the whole country would be shut down.
Roads, streets and highways alike remained snowbound for days after the storm, which caused an estimated 46 deaths. Road crews attempting to clear the snow from Virginia to Maine found themselves hampered by abandoned vehicles, downed tree limbs and other detritus from the blizzard, which also featured a phenomenon known as thundersnow or thunderstorms within the blizzard. Some vehicles were abandoned on interstate highways, including the Capitol Beltway surrounding Washington, where multiple jurisdictions took steps to clear them off roads, in some cases prosecuting their owners for their transgressions.
Damn.
Number 7, the superstorm of March 1993. The March 1993 superstorm was so huge it ranged from Honduras in Central America to eastern Canada. Snow in the Florida Panhandle is rare, especially in March, but the storm delivered 4 to 6 inches across the area, spicing it with hurricane-force winds and frigid temperatures. As the storm moved across the eastern United States, it knocked out the power to over 10 million homes, dumped snowfall which exceeded 4 feet in some regions, and led to over 200 deaths. The 1993 superstorm was the first in which the National Weather Service could provide computer models which accurately predicted the amounts of snowfall several days in advance. The accuracy of the models allowed the northeastern United States to declare state
200 people died. Fuck.
of emergency before the snow began to fall.
Damn.
Nonetheless, many failed to heed the warnings and adequately prepare for the event, especially in rural areas which were without electrical power for several days and even weeks. Winds exceed.
This is on a side note. This is scary. There's a scary thing happening in the real world at the minute. Hurricane Melissa, I think it's called. Let me just double check that before I say something wrong. I'm pretty sure it is Hurricane Melissa. That's going for Jamaica, right? Yeah, it's going to hit as a Category 5 to Jamaica. That is going to absolutely annihilate that island. That is heartbreaking, and I hope to God people get out if they can. I don't know if you even can get out. It's scary times. I don't know when it's due to hit. I think it's in the next couple of hours, to be fair, which is absolutely horrible. I'm praying for everyone in Jamaica, man. That's gonna be bad. That's gonna be bad.
100 miles per hour swept across the eastern seaboard from Florida to Nova Scotia. Cells within the storm generated tornadoes, which added to the destruction. In all, 26 states, most of eastern Canada, Cuba, and the North Atlantic were impacted by the storm. Every airport in the United States had their schedules disrupted, and those east of the Alleghenies from Tampa to Halifax, Nova Scotia, were closed at some point between March the 12th and 15th. Number 6, Valentine's Day storm of 2007. From the Nebraska plains to the East Coast, as far south as New Orleans to New England, Valentine's Day 2007 was the midpoint of a massive winter storm. It produced severe tornado-spawning thunderstorms in the south, blizzard conditions in the Midwest, heavy ice storms in the higher valley, and more blizzards in the northeast from February the 12th over the next 5 days. In the United States and the 2 Canadian provinces most severely affected, 37 fatalities were attributed to the storm. Snowfall was so heavy across New York State, the National Guard was called out to assist in its removal. Pennsylvania saw a 50-mile backup with traffic at a standstill on I-78 in Berks County. Some motorists were stark immobilized by the storm for over 24 hours, some even longer. In Philadelphia, Valentine's Day was marked by huge sheets of thick ice sliding off roofs to crash to the streets below, forcing police to close off numerous streets. And New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport airliners froze to the ground at the gates, blocking their use by arriving flights, which were forced to wait on taxiways. Some passengers were forced to wait for as much as 10 hours in aircraft, which could neither go to the gate to unload.
Oh my God. Can you imagine having to wait for 10 hours in your airplane because of a snowstorm? Like, actually visualize that in your head right now. You're sitting there, you're getting ready to get up, get your bags and get off the fucking plane, because it's as soon as you land, it's the first thing you want to do. Everyone's patience just leaves their body whenever you land. You just want to get off immediately. So can you imagine getting your seatbelt off? It's kind of, the way you half stand up, the aisles in front of you, and you're like looking this way and looking this way. And then the attendant comes down. It's like, everyone just take a quick seat. You're going to have to sit here for 10 hours. Oh, I would feel like a lifetime.
Nor take off. Ironically, in Washington, D.C., the House Subcommittee on Energy and Air Quality cancelled a scheduled hearing on global warming on February the 14th. Number 5, Midwestern...
Do you guys believe in global warming? Here's my take on it, right? If global warming is happening, that means the globe is getting warmer. So how is it still cold then? You know what I mean? I feel like it's getting colder. It's global cold. Colding. It's global colding, man. No, it's not fucking warmer. Not where I live anyway.
Blizzard of 1978. For 3 days in late January 1978, the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes region endured a blizzard which proved one of the most severe winter storms in recorded history. The barometer fell to the third lowest level ever recorded in the mainland United States, above the subtropical regions. The combination of the low-pressure system, heavily laden with moisture, and the polar jet stream created staggering amounts of snowfall. In Michigan, up to 52 inches of snow fell, piled into much higher drifts by winds which reached up to 100 miles an hour. In Ohio, the blizzard was the worst to ever impact the state, closing all major highways. The National Guard was called to rescue those stranded in snow. Calls went out for citizens with four-wheel drive vehicles to assist transporting emergency personnel to hospitals and clinics. On January the 26th, the second day of the blizzard, an Amtrak train was immobilized in Indiana when snowdrifts, some of which reached over 20 feet in height, blocked the rails. In Michigan alone, over 100,000 cars and trucks were abandoned on streets and roads, unable to move. Wind chills reached minus 60 degrees in Ohio, where 51 out of the 70 total deaths.
Whoa. Wind chill was minus 60. That's just death. That's death. That's not cold. You take one deep breath, your lungs are just icicles.
Caused by the storm occurred. The entire length of the Ohio Turnpike, 241 miles, was closed for 2 days, an unprecedented effect of what became known as the Great Blizzard of 1978.
I don't know whether this man, is this the way he speaks? I would love this man to read me a book, man.
The Great Blizzard of 1978. Number 4. The Children's Blizzard of 1888. January the 12th, 1888 began as an unusually warm day in the Black Hills, then part of the Dakota Territory. The region contained small, isolated communities. The schools were one-room schoolhouses where children walked to their classes.
I feel like I should be drinking a glass of bourbon or something and put on a turtleneck while I listen to this man.
The respite from the cold and
this guy's
snow
a storyteller. I love it.
Led to most residents, including school children, not wearing the heavy winter garments usually needed for that time of year. By noon, the temperature fell and the snow began, driven by rising winds. Mid-afternoon saw steadily worsening conditions. Some teachers released their classes earlier in the hope that their charges could get home before the storm worsened further. Others kept the children in their schoolhouses, hoping they had sufficient fuel to keep the buildings warm through the storm. Late afternoon saw the full-fledged blizzards presenting whiteout conditions, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and snowdrifts rising above 15 feet. Over 230 people died in the blizzard, which was over by the following morning, and which affected Nebraska, the Dakota Plains, and...
1888, unexpected blizzard swept across the prairies and claimed 235 lives. Most of them were children. Oh, that's not good, man. That's so sad.
Eastward into Minnesota. In South Dakota, it is remembered as the Schoolhouse Blizzard, as well as the Children's Blizzard, in remembrance of the over 170 children who died either trying to get home or in schoolhouses when fuel ran out, and they froze to death in that frigid night. Number 3. The Great Appalachian Storm of 1950. Also known as the Storm of the Century, 1950's Great Appalachian Storm began on November the 24th and raged across 22 states before it dissipated 6 days later. The storm featured hurricane-force winds, heavy snows and ice, and record-low temperatures from Alabama north to New Hampshire, east of the Alleghenies, and from Tennessee through Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia on the western side of the range. It began the day after Thanksgiving, bringing temperatures to record lows in Florida, Alabama, and Georgia. As it moved north, it produced more record lows, accompanied by high winds, which eventually exceeded 100 miles per hour in New Hampshire. The winds and cold created blizzard conditions on the western side of the mountains and lake-effect snow on the Great Lakes. On Saturday, November the 25th, Ohio State University was scheduled to play football against Michigan. Despite a temperature of 10 degrees, 30-mile-per-hour winds, and snow falling at a rate of 2 inches per hour, the game was played anyway. Michigan won. New Jersey recorded the highest wind gust in the state's history during the storm, 108 miles per hour. At New York's LaGuardia Airport, wind-driven storm surges breached the control dikes, closing the airport due to flooded runways. Connecticut saw coastal flooding, which washed away railroad tracks and roads. In all, the Great Appalachian Storm caused 383 deaths and almost $70 million in damages, about $816 million today. Number 2, the Great Lakes Storm of 1913. In terms of the weather conditions it produced, the Great Lakes Storm of 1913 was a winter storm, but it took place in mid-autumn, beginning on November the 7th and raging for 3 days. A combination of unseasonably cold temperatures and hurricane-force winds, the storm caused the sinking or grounding of 19 ships on the lakes, stranded nearly 24 others, and killed more than 250 people. most of them sailors. Blizzard conditions struck the lake ports of Duluth, Cleveland, Chicago, and Detroit, as well as many smaller ports. The heavy snow earns the storm the nickname the White Hurricane. Despite warnings of severe gales on the lakes, many ships continued their voyages rather than attempt to take shelter in ports or anchorages. On Lake Huron, wind gusts reached 90 miles per hour. Lake Erie recorded wind gusts near 80. On all the lakes, the high winds created rogue waves, wreaking havoc on ships and shore facilities. The shorelines and cities along the lake suffered blizzards which produced over 20 inches of snow.
What? Is this a photograph or a drawing? I've always wanted to know about these old images, man. I've never known if they're an actual photograph or they're drawings. Someone let me know, because I'd like to know.
Snow in Cleveland, similar totals in Buffalo and Erie, and power outages throughout the region. Damaging ice storms occurred in Pennsylvania and New York. The Great Lakes storm of 1913 remains the worst natural disaster in the history of the Great Lakes.
Jesus.
Number 1, the cyclone blizzard of 1888. In March 1888, approximately 25% of the American population lived in the region between the Virginia Capes and Maine.
How many percentage?
Number 1, the cyclone blizzard of 1888. In March 1888, approximately 25% of the American population lived in the region between the Virginia Capes and Maine and east of the Alleghenies. On March the 11th, that region was pummeled by one of the worst storms of any season of the year in all of American history. The major cities of the eastern seaboard were paralyzed by heavy snow, storm surges driven by hurricane-force winds, ice and sleet, and drifts which reached heights of 50 feet and beyond. In New York City, the drifts were so high they blocked the elevated trains from operating, stranding more than 15,000 commuters. The New York Stock Exchange closed for 3 consecutive days since few were able to get to their place of employment. The East River froze over between Queens and Manhattan. The blizzard was credited with inspiring New York City officials with replacing the elevated trains with a subway system, as well as moving gas lines and water mains underground. New York was not the only city to suffer a significant number of deaths to the storm, which exceeded 400 throughout the north.
Look how many power lines used to be in the streets. Oh my god. It looks like a spider web. Oh my goodness. Look at everyone looking at, like, this is how wild people used to be. Like, they're literally just watching someone taking a photograph on a camera. Like, obviously today it's just normalized. You've got a fucking camera on everything, man. People have cameras on their fridges. And that's not even a joke. There's literally smart fridges that have cameras on and take photographs. I don't know who the fuck thought that'd be a good idea or why it was an idea, but it is what it is. Like, they're just standing there watching someone take a photograph. And they're all talking to themselves like, what's that? Going on down there? Is that a photograph image? You know what I mean?
East, but it suffered the most of any city, more than 200, including Senator Roscoe Conkling, who collapsed while walking in Union Square, developed pneumonia, and died of complications a month later. In Brooklyn, a snowdrift in the Gravesend neighborhood was measured at 52 feet. Houses were buried, their occupants trapped within. The storm sank or otherwise wrecked more than 200 ships in the Atlantic and Chesapeake Bay, and more than 100 seamen and their would-be rescuers died. Throughout the area affected by the storm, frigid temperatures no higher than the low teens in most places added to the misery and amplified the danger. The cyclone blizzard of 1888 became the standard against which all winter storms have been measured ever since.
You know what? That video kind of put it into perspective. Whenever I watch these videos, I always take it with a pinch of salt and try to add in a little bit of humor here and there. And I still will, man. That's who I am. But, like, that was sad. Really seeing how many people died. And that was a lot. There was a lot of people died in those storms. Holy shit. Storms are scary, man. You know what? I feel like nowadays, a lot of people, whenever storms come and they get excited. But I feel like you gotta maybe be like 70% excited to see the snow and, you know, be all happy. But I feel like there's gotta be a big party that is also like, I gotta take this serious. And you do, man. Or you could literally die. You don't want to die, because that's not good. No one wants that to happen. You know what I mean? Damn. Anyway, that was me reacting to the worst storms at winter in the history of the United States of America. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like on it. I'd appreciate it. Leave a subscribe to the channel. And have a good day. Peace.